I am going to give you 4 key things to do to get to 15% body fat in 2025. You may or may not know that over 90% of people fail to lose their stubborn belly fat, not because they don't try, but because they're focusing on the wrong things. Sure, getting to 15% body fat isn't easy. It's a game of strategy, accountability, consistency, and avoiding the traps that derail most people. But of course, it's completely doable when you know the rules of the game. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 4 key rules that will help you get into the 10% of people that actually succeed. These are the exact principles I've used personally and with hundreds of clients to lose fat, build muscle, and completely transform lives. And trust me, hitting 15% body fat isn't just about looking good. It's about feeling stronger, healthier, and more confident every day. If this is your first time here, my name's Adam. I'm a performance nutritionist and online coach. And over the last decade, I've helped countless men and women achieve sustainable fat loss and muscle growth. I've been through this journey myself. I've hit 10% body fat multiple times. I've even pushed as low as 5%, which I wouldn't recommend. So I know exactly what works and, more importantly, what doesn't. So let's start with one of the biggest reasons people fail, and that's unrealistic expectations. You've probably seen fitness transformations online that promise to melt fat in weeks or turn you into a shredded version of yourself in just a month. But they forget to tell you that actual fat loss, especially getting down to 15% body fat, is a slow and methodical process. If you go into this thinking it's going to happen in 4 to 6 weeks, you're setting yourself up for frustration. Because when the scale doesn't move as fast as you hoped, or you don't look dramatically leaner in the mirror after a couple of weeks, you'll start questioning the process. That's when people give up. Instead, here's what realistic expectations look like. Fat loss isn't linear. Some weeks you'll lose 1 to 3 pounds, while other weeks the scale won't budge. That's normal. Look at the trend lines over time. You won't see physical changes overnight. The first signs of progress often show up in how your clothes fit or your energy levels, not in the mirror. It's going to take months and not weeks, depending on where you're starting. Getting to 15% body fat can take anywhere from 6 to 12 months. And when you free yourself from this quick fix mindset that leads to burnout and disappointment, instead, you focus on consistency and patience, that's when you'll start to see the progress you've been waiting for. The goal isn't to lose weight fast, it's to lose weight in a sustainable way for the long haul. Your biggest obstacle isn't a cheat meal or skipping a workout, it's how long you let those moments throw you off track. A burger and fries? It's not a big deal. Missing leg day? Nobody's perfect. But letting one slip up turn into a week or worse, a month of I'll start fresh Monday is where most people screw up. Every time you go off track, you have 2 choices. You can either stop the damage right there or let it spiral. And trust me, the longer you wait, the harder it gets to pull yourself back in. Mistakes aren't failures, they're opportunities to figure out what's tripping you up. But most people either ignore their slip-ups or beat themselves up about them. Neither of those are helpful. Instead, ask yourself what really happened here. Did skipping breakfast leave you feeling famished by dinner? Did stress lead to those late night snacks? Did hanging out with your friends throw your usual habits out of the window? Whatever it was, understanding why it happens gives you a chance to do better next time. And that's the key, learning from your mistakes. It's what separates the people who keep making progress from those who stay stuck. Every time you reflect, you're adding another tool to your mental toolbox. So don't stress about being perfect. It's not about never slipping up. It's about stopping those slip-ups from completely taking you off track. If you can turn a full-on binge into just an extra 200 calories, that's a win. If you can stop one bad day from becoming a bad week, you're crushing it. Sure, at first, bouncing back might take a while. Maybe it's a few weeks before you feel like you're back in the swing of things. But over time, that recovery window shrinks. Soon, it's just a day. Eventually, it's just one meal. And when you get to that point, you've mastered consistency and your results will be inevitable. If you want me to help you lose 8 pounds of fat in the next 30 days, head on over to the description and join my 30-day free challenge. Every mistake you make is just another moment. It doesn't define you. The faster you dust off and get back to your plan, the faster you'll reach your goals. Keep showing up with intention again and again, no matter how many times life throws you off course. The closer you get to your goal, the harder the journey becomes. This might sound discouraging, but it's important to understand the leaner you get, the slower fat loss happens. You just have less fat to lose. That's why so many people stall out around 18 to 20% body fat. They underestimate how much effort it takes to push through the final phase, and usually how much fat they have to lose from the get-go. Here's what you need to know. As you lose fat, your metabolism naturally slows down. Your body requires fewer calories to function, so that margin of error does get smaller. At the same time, annoyingly, your hunger increases. Your body is trying to nudge you into eating more to preserve energy stores. This means that the strategies that got you from 30% to 20% body fat might not be enough to get you to 15% body fat. At this stage, attention to detail becomes crucial. Start weighing and measuring your foods more accurately. Be more mindful of portion sizes, and I would say track everything consistently. Avoid letting little cheats creep in, because those small missteps can now have a bigger impact. The good news is, at this final leg, you truly level up your discipline, your mental toughness and focus. It's not just about looking better, it's about proving to yourself that you can push through, even when the margin of error is a lot smaller. This is kind of like a mindset trap that most people fall into. They feel like their calorie deficit is permanent. They feel like the way they're currently living is not sustainable and they can't do it forever. The truth is, this can feel massively discouraging, especially as hunger creeps up and life throws curveballs. And I'm here to tell you, it's not permanent. It's important to know this when you're starting out so you can actually prepare. A calorie deficit is just part of a phase where you focus on fat loss. Once you hit your fat loss goal, your focus will shift from losing weight to maintaining it, and maybe even gaining it. Sure, transitioning out of a deficit can feel just as challenging as the fat loss phase itself. Even though you'll be eating more, your hunger might still feel elevated and your brain might be screaming, the diet's over, it's time to celebrate. This is where most people do struggle. They start introducing ultra-processed foods, highly palatable foods, which are easy to overeat. They stop focusing on protein, nutritious food. They start to care less about their steps, and before they know it, the fat they worked so hard to get rid of starts to come back. But here is how you avoid it. For the first 3 to 4 weeks after your cut, I would say keep the same foods you did during a deficit, but just increase the portion sizes slightly. This helps you ease into maintenance calories without triggering overeating. Be patient. Your body needs time to adjust to the new calorie intake. It may take a month or two to find your new groove, but once you do, you'll feel more in control. If your goal is to bulk after this deficit, you can spend 1 to 2 weeks at maintenance and then go into a 5% calorie surplus. But still, pay attention to hunger, because you don't want to give yourself a hall pass to eat whatever and gain back a lot of the unwanted fat. Remember, reaching 15% body fat is not the finish line. It's a new lifestyle. It's quite simple to maintain 15% body fat all year round if you wanted to. Sure, maintenance does give you more flexibility, but it also requires you to stay mindful and consistent with the habits that actually got you there. You didn't come this far to go backwards, and treat this transition as part of the process, and you'll lock in your results for good. And that's all I wanted to cover in this video. If you enjoyed this, hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing for future videos. Any questions at all, comment below. Any deeper questions, feel free to send me a message on Instagram at AdamScottFit, or send me an email, adam@adamscottfit.com. Have the best day ever, and we'll talk soon.